Welcome to Inside the Den, the podcast of the Avon Charter School in West Grove, Pennsylvania. Each episode, our CEO and head of school, Mrs. Bishop, sits down with the people who make our K-12 community thrive, sharing their voices, stories, and pride in the Wolfpack. So come on in and step into the den with us, the heart of our pack family. Today, Mrs. Bishop is sitting down with Senior Wyatt Nelson and board member Dr. Brian Ladman to discuss an exciting new chapter on our horizon, the much-anticipated January 5th opening of our new 7 through 12 upper school.
Welcome back to our podcast. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. This is a very exciting week leading up to the holidays. But more importantly, what we're all counting down to is that brand new building. So I am very excited that I have today Wyatt Nelson with me, a senior here. Wyatt, tell me, how long have you been at Avon Grove Charter School?
I've been at Avon Grove since I was in kindergarten.
I know you have, and I'm so excited that you grew up here. At graduation, every graduation I go and the seniors talk about it didn't really matter that we went to school in a modular because we grew up here and it was about the friends that we made or the teacher connection that we had. And that always made me feel good because they had a great experience, but always knowing that they deserved so much more in their learning space. So tell me about what it was like to go to school in high school in the modular.
Yeah, definitely. So it has been, a tight space, but I've never minded it, and I don't think I've ever really heard anyone complain about it because there's a lot of memories within it. Like I know that for high school we always decorate the hallways, things like that. So yeah, nobody's ever really complained about the spaces, and I think that it is more about the experiences that are made inside it.
It is, but I will tell you, I let you guys do whatever you wanted to those modulars. They were 20 years old when we bought them, and they're 20 years old now, so they're over 40 years old. So what happened to those walls? No big deal, right?
Yeah, I think there's still staples in there.
There's a few staples in there. Getting into that new building, I might not feel like that anymore. I know I won't feel like that anymore. It's going to be like moving into a new house with a mom that's, protecting her walls. So when I say that, what's going through your mind as you're going to spend your final semester in that new building, and maybe there isn't as much flexibility with the full-out decorating, but some really cool things to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't think anyone sees it like that. You can always make it work, but I'm really excited. I think there's going to be a lot more spaces for learning and sports and things like that. I know that the turf field won't be ready immediately, but I think everyone's really excited for that, and everyone's just excited for the whole entire building.
So cool. What are you looking forward to the most in these new spaces?
Again, probably the entertainment part would be mine.
The gym.
Definitely the gym. It's obviously the gym has always been really small, and I think a lot of the teams are excited to have an on-site campus or an on-site location for games and practice and things like that.
Definitely. Did you see any pictures? Did you see the big wolf in the center?
I know.
It's really,
awesome.
really cool.
Yeah.
There's also on the back wall, there's going to be these big wolf eyes that look down the bleachers. That's going to be really neat. So there is so much to look forward to. The fitness center. What do you think about the collaboration spaces, like the little collaboratories outside the classroom? You think the kids will love those?
I think that'll be pretty cool. It'll give space for, a little space from the teacher to have more like collaboration between just the students, and I think that it's a really cool addition.
Awesome. What do you want younger students to know about what the new building means, since you had to get through the modulars and they're going to walk into that brand new building?
Yeah, it definitely means a lot. Since I've been here since kindergarten, I've gone through the progression of the whole entire school. Like I was here before they added was it third grade that they added to the
to Campbellsville?
Yeah. So it's definitely mean a lot, and it just has shown the growth that Avon Grove Charter's been through in the past 10 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So Wyatt, you are headed to college. What are you thinking? You've been accepted to where so far? It's only November, so I know you're waiting for a few. Tell us.
I've gotten into Pitt so far. That's where I've heard from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then who are you waiting for?
WashU St. Louis, Drexel.
That's your number one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Drexel, Colorado Boulder, Penn State.
And what do you want to do?
I want to do biology, and then go on the pre-med track.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that, Wyatt. Well, you've been a wonderful addition to our family at Avon Grove Charter School, and it's going to be sad to see you go, but I am so happy that you're going to get to spend some time in that new building and enjoy some of what's to come for Avon Grove Charter School.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so I'm here today with Dr. Brian Ladman, who is a board member for, now 6 years. And before we get into the building, Brian, I want to talk a little bit about how we got here. So we have modulars that are 20 years old when we got them, now 20 years old, so they're 40 years old, and they're on their last leg. And we've been talking about a new building for a very long time. More than a decade for me have we been talking about what kind of facilities we need. And you are on our facilities committee, so you have seen for the last 6 years all the conversation around what we needed building, how we were going to get there. And beyond my wildest dreams did I ever think this is what we were going to end. We were going to land on this building because we never could afford it. So I can't wait to talk a lot about how we got here. But being a board member for 6 years, talk about what that looked like for you. Walk us through what it took to get here.
Sure. It was an amazing journey when you think about where we started and I came on during COVID. As a new board member, just drinking from the fire hose. And so I kept waiting for a normal year and normal activity, and it took us a very long time to get there. So just when we started to get comfortable with the wildness of the pandemic and the response from a scholastic standpoint and operational side, then you started talking about a building and a dream that we were not aware of as new board members. We were so focused on the pandemic response that normal activities like that were just outside of our normal realm. So we went from a wild time to an even wilder time talking about numbers that most people don't think about. The normal operating budget was nothing compared to what these building loans were going to be like. If you're fortunate enough to go through a home renovation or some kind of serious work project, you may talk about 10,000 to a few million, and then you throw out a number like 50 million, 58 million.
It's a little scary.
It was really scary to know that you had that pressure on you as a board member, that contribution to either make something great or potentially crash and burn the whole school. So it was a wild time.
Well, you said something interesting to me, and it's probably the hardest part of my job, is that there's constant new board members. And so trying to update people on the conversation that we had 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that leads into the conversations today into this new building. It's very difficult to kind of stop and start constantly about decision making with new board members, but this one was something that was talked about for over a decade, and it's gone through many different kinds of images. At one point it was called the Commons, and it was just a gym with some classrooms. At no point did we think we were going to be able to afford a brand new building with multiple classrooms. And then it was a modular replacement that we were going to build, a double-decker modular, which nobody really wanted, but we were talking about what we could afford. So finally, USDA came together. And the USDA loan was really our saving grace. It was what made our dream a reality. And it is the largest loan that was ever given to any entity, let alone a school. And so when you heard that we could get a USDA loan, did that make you feel at ease about how we were going to do this and the money it was going to save us in the end?
Yes and no. So in my line of work, I work with different groups within the USDA, and I know how challenging that can be. Very different from the loan group that we were dealing with from a scholastic side. But nonetheless, hearing the numbers, it made us feel a little bit better. But I think back to some of the decisions we made as a board during COVID and how that kept me up.
Yeah.
This was like a whole nother level of anxiety, thinking about how the numbers were actually going to work. We put tremendous faith in the administration, and rightfully so. The folks that you work with, like Don, are fantastic. So it wasn't a matter of not believing the numbers, but wow. I mean,
Yeah.
we went from a few years of worrying about where every penny was going to go to and how we were going to keep the school staffed to then looking at numbers in excess of 50 million, which was, mind-boggling.
Sure. And then to hear that we could get a 3.6% interest rate. A lot of our debt was in bonds. We can't raise people's taxes, for those of you that don't know, to build what we need. That's not something that we can do as a charter school. And so, when we took out bonds in the past, they were at a 5%. So we took out extra to pay off some of our debt at a 3.6%. That's going to save us millions of dollars. So not only are we building a building, but we're also consolidating our debt into better rate, which is really good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are things that parents don't normally think about.
No.
I was thinking about nothing on my way over to this building today, which was great because usually that's not the case. I was just enjoying the sunshine. And then you pull up and you see the construction site and just amazing. And so we've always offered a tremendous environment for learning and safety and nurturing, but the facility side was lacking. Being on the facilities committee since I joined the board, we're talking about replacing things in modulars, trying to make structural changes to buildings from the 1920s to this, which is just tremendous. It's going to be great to see the students walk into that space, going from the modulars to this new fantastic set of classrooms, the athletic fields. It's an incredible, rare opportunity for students to experience learning in a space like this.
I agree. What are you, my husband just said to me, I can't imagine what it's going to look like with those modulars gone. Like, everybody can't wait to see what is that going to look like, because they've been such a staple there for so long. Not a nice one, but a staple no less. And very excited just to see. So when you're saying you're driving by, I think everybody's looking forward to driving by and seeing that. So when you think about what this building represents beyond just the classrooms and the hallways, what are you excited? What are you most excited about?
So I grew up in the New York City school system, which there were a couple of new schools where I lived, but when I say new at the time, it was like the 70s. So still 20-something years old at that point. But the elementary school I went to was from 1910. So in the 80s, that was a long time ago, right? And that's similar to what we're dealing with here in 1928, 1955. On the facilities committee, we throw those numbers around like they're meaningless in the sense that they identify the spaces that make up the campus at State Road currently. But those are the years those buildings were constructed. And so think about how different the world was then. We didn't have 50 states in 1928 or 1955. We had probably 30 less atomic elements on the periodic table. So the world's changed a lot in learning. And so to walk into spaces that were designed for today's learning, today's science is, fantastic. It's an experience that most students aren't going to get to feel.
I love that. Well, I know you're talking a little bit about the science, and so tell our listeners what you do currently right now as your job.
So I'm the director of a poultry diagnostic lab at the University of Delaware, and that serves kind of as the state's diagnostic lab for a multi-billion-dollar poultry industry. So most people don't realize there are about 1.5 million people living on the Delmarva Peninsula and 600 million chickens each year living on that same plot of land.
Wow. So we're headed into Thanksgiving week. We were just talking about turkeys. So tell me, Miss Dr. Ladman, where are you going to get your turkey since you have so much experience with chickens?
So, last couple of years we've been getting fresh turkeys from a little market on Crowtoot in Oxford. And the birds are out there. It's avian influenza season, so it's a little frightening that they're out in pasture and a big risk. But boy, they are tasty. So nothing beats the taste of a fresh turkey. Sorry to any vegetarians who are listening.
So I go to my good old-fashioned Wegmans and just pick it up out of the freezer. So tell me a little bit about what that. I mean, it sounds cool. Tell me what that looks like.
Well, it's a small paddock, kind of like where someone would keep horses, and there are maybe 50 or so turkeys out there.
Like I'm envisioning, do they bring them by their legs, or are they like,
no,
are they packaged up? Like, how does it look?
Yeah, so I mean, when my daughter was younger, we would take her out, and say, look, that's where one of the turkeys we're going to have is. And I think it's important to make that link between food and agriculture. That was something that was missing growing up in a suburb for me. So we would loosely visit the turkey, which some may think is a little cruel. But the birds are cleaned a few days before they're slaughtered and processed and then delivered to you in a bag. Kind of the joke is it doesn't matter how large of a turkey you're looking for, they all come back the same. So sometimes we'll be only 4 for Thanksgiving and look for a 16-pound turkey, and we'll get something like a 22-pound turkey and ask for something slightly smaller, and the response is, well, we have a 21.5. Would you like that?
I love it.
But a good bird, it's good to support the local economy. Highly recommend it.
Well, I'm very thankful for you. I'm thankful for your commitment to Avon Grove Charter School, your dedication, the donations that you've made to the school, your time commitment. I know that's away from your family. So during this Thanksgiving, I'm very thankful for you and what you've done for our school. And I just wanted to thank you for being here and for your years of service with us.
Well, thanks so much. It's really kind. And the feeling is the same. I think there are plenty of families out there who are thankful for your commitment and the others here at Avon Grove, whether they say it or not. But know that it's appreciated. And this is a tremendous victory, if you will, and an exciting moment for you. You've been here a long time. You've had this vision for this school. And so congratulations to you. And as a board member, I think we're all extremely happy to see that your dreams have reached this point.
For sure. I've always said if I can finish my career here where everybody has a home, that would just feel amazing. And if finally every grade level will have a home, which will be really nice.
And I encourage every parent, every caregiver to come in and take a look at this new building, regardless of whether your students are at State Road or over in Kemblesville. This will be a home for many years for students. It'll be a tremendous building.
For sure. For those of you that don't know, after Christmas, the kids will start moving into that new building on January 5th. We're planning it big. We're going to have the first student to shoot a basketball and the first student to use the lab equipment and all the different things that are going to be celebrated. The first dollar spent in the bistro. So there's a lot to look forward to as the kids move in. I know we just had Wyatt here, and he said how excited he was just to have events in the gym. Very simple things that kids are looking forward to. I know some of them are a little nervous, and they should be. I told them I'm like a mom with a new house. And so we're all going to be very respectful of our new space. So all those parents that are listening out there, please make sure you remind your students or your child that this is the way this is going to go, and we're all going to be very respectful, or mom and dad are going to hear from Mrs. Bishop, I can tell you that. But during National School Choice Week is the time that we're going to start having families come in and do this soft grand opening, so that we can take our families and community members through the new building. I wish we could do it grand, but we're moving the modulars, right? So part of moving the kids in early was to give the construction crew more time to get those modulars out of the way. Trying to do that in a summer is nearly impossible. So we're giving them more time to do the site work and the field in the back. And more importantly, which some of our listeners are just finding out now, there's a little left in our contingency. So we're looking to build that cafeteria, the engineering room, and the family consumer science room that will be built through the year and then open in 2027. It should be done around April of 2027, but obviously we won't be moving kids into a new cafeteria at the end of the school year. But very exciting. That's going to bid right now. Again, something that you probably didn't think as a board member, right? That was going to happen after we committed to a building.
Yeah, absolutely. The extra funds, there was so much uncertainty coming out of COVID with the construction costs, and then the potential impact from tariffs and whatnot. We really had no clue what we were looking at. So again, working with a great group of people who made sure we had enough of a cushion. And so it was fantastic to see that we had that funding available again to make the school even better. So Most people probably don't realize much about the extra spaces, the cafeteria and the extra classrooms, but those are extremely exciting as well. And it just stands to make the campus even better.
So that's called the den when the building opens, with the cafeteria and the 2 additional classrooms. And after all the site work is done and we get the final cafeteria and 2 classrooms complete, we'll do a huge grand opening for our families, friends, community members to come and see all the hard work, to walk through the micro farm, the playground, all the additional spaces that will open up with that site work. So very exciting things happening. I know the state budget impasse, the federal shutdown, USDA wasn't open for a month. It temporarily halted some things for us, but what I know about us is that when obstacles are thrown our way, we do a really good job problem solving and getting to the other side. So just like everything else, yes, it was a hiccup, but we're getting through those hiccups as well. So I guess we'll see you hopefully at National School Choice Week at the end of January. Be on the lookout for that invitation so that you can come out and enjoy our walkthrough of our new space. Thank you to all the community members for being a part of our AGCS families. The best days are just ahead of us. This building is proof of what we can accomplish together. We fight for our students and we thank our guests. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Remember, this excitement for this new building is just around the corner, so get your kids excited after the holiday break to walk through those doors. Thank you so much. Now, Dr. Ladman, we've been finishing the podcast with a nice howl. Can I hear your best howl?
Oh!
Ooh, that's a good one.
I've been practicing.
That's a good one.
I didn't even know it was coming.
Wow. I don't know if I can top that.
It's a hidden talent.
I can't top Dr. Ladman's. I'm so glad we ended on that note. Thank you.